Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to be here to give you an update on Genesis Metals. We are relatively new in that the company was formed and we obtained the project by way of a plan of arrangement that closed in March of 2016. So we've really been only on the property since that time, basically doing an inventory of historic drilling as well as compiling results, converting paper copies of results into digital format and so on. So I'll explain what we've done and where we're heading. I'll just refer you to the forward-looking statements that I'm about to make. So the key considerations for the company, we have a very strong management and a board. We're actually in Quebec, one of the top-ranked mining jurisdictions in the world. Very attractive cost base as well as very mining-friendly jurisdiction. We have a deposit or two deposits on the property, the Chevrier project, which both open for expansion at depth as well as along strike. And we also have a very sizable land position, approximately 120 square kilometers, and that affords us opportunities for new discoveries on a large land position. We are midway through a 10,000 meter program of drilling, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail. Just a quick overview of a management team. My background is a lot of experience with large caps, Placidome, Noranda, AMAX. Spent a lot of time, I lived in Timmins in Northern Ontario for many years, became very familiar with the Abitibi, and have had the good fortune of meeting some very good people with the current management team and board members that we currently have, as you see here. Just point out a couple of key individuals. Jeff Sundar is president and director. Jeff and myself and Sean Kun handle the day-to-day project operations as well as investor relations functions. And André Liboiron is our exploration manager based in Montreal. It's important to have a connection with Quebec in terms of representation both in personnel as well as visibility in the Quebec market. And Adrian Fleming is a very senior level director who's had a long history of successes with Underworld, Placer Pacific, and so on. I'll also point out that we have two very senior people. John Florek, who's currently chief geologist at Detour Gold, is one of our board members. Eric Lemieux and Rob McLeod are strategic advisors. Eric is recently with Laurentian Bank, again, another Montreal native, and it's important to have that representation in Quebec. Our corporate structure, we closed a financing in June of this year for $4 million. We managed to attract some significant new shareholders, as you see on the list there, including Osisko Mining, Eric Sprott, Gold 2000 out of Europe, Delbrook Capital here in Vancouver, US Global out of Texas, and the two Quebec sovereign funds, CEDEX and STBJ, are also significant shareholders. As you can see, approximately 50% of our shareholding is retail, but we do have strong institutional and strong supporters on that basis. Management, consultants, insiders control about 12% of the company. Just to put things into context, the Abitibi, we've all seen maps like this before, a very prolific area for gold production and still for exploration. We have Genesis's Chevrier project at the extreme eastern end near the town of Chibougamau, and at the western end we have an earlier stage project called October Gold in the Swayze Belt, and that's close to Cote Lake of IAMGOLD. The highlights, we're very close to Chibougamau. We have excellent infrastructure. We can drive right to the project. You can take a flight from Montreal, an hour and 10 minutes later you're in Chibougamau, and then it's about a 30-minute drive from the airport straight to the center of the property. We are covering about 15 kilometers of a northeast trending structural corridor called the Fan Camp Deformation Zone, which seems to be the focus of most of the gold mineralization in this belt. We currently have a compliant resource done as of 2010 by the predecessor company with whom we merged in 2016. A resource of 300,000 ounces at 2 grams or so. Jay referred to historic resources that had previously been done on the project by the likes of Minova. For those of you who may remember Minova, a blue chip mid-tier mining company did very good work, but unfortunately it's historic in nature, so we can't refer to it as such. That's within the main zone, and then the south zone also represents another significant area for potential expansion, and it's approximately 3 kilometers south of the main zone. I'll just show a quick excerpt from the Metchem 2010 compliant report. It highlights the south zone with approximately 300,000 ounces at around about 1.99 grams. The south zone requires additional drilling. It's carried as a mineral inventory or quantified by Metchem as a mineral inventory. And if you look at the numbers, it's approximately twice the tonnage at approximately roughly the same grade as the main zone. You can do the arithmetic and work out what that number looks like. But that's a project that we plan to drill in the first quarter of next year, and the idea being that we'd close up the spacing, potentially have sufficient drill density to move that to an inferred resource as well. So a quick location sketch. On the top left, you see the overall location showing the access road. I'll draw your attention to Monster Lake in the southwestern corner of that image. And then on the lower right corner, you shows the claim position. Our property in red, the main zone and south zone are shown as yellow stars. That's within the northeast trending Fan Camp deformation zone. Toma Gold has the Monster Lake property, approximately 12 kilometers southwest of our property. IM Gold is zoning in to the tune of 70% by spending $17 million over 7 years. They're spending around about $2 million this year. We understand they're moving towards an initial resource estimate for Monster Lake, so that would be a very interesting catalyst for the whole camp. Of particular interest, there's no current producing mines in the Chibougamau camp. The last mine to close was the Joe Mann mine in the southeastern corner, owned by Campbell Resources. It closed in the early 2000s. Intriguingly, it still has a permitted tailings facility, so it presents some opportunities in terms of developments in the future should we advance the main zone and south zone at Chevrier to a significant landmark position. A quick summary, we did a lot of inventory work. As I said, there's approximately 70,000 meters of historic core available, all in excellent condition and well documented. We spent a lot of time modeling the main zone, south zone, and so on to understand the controls on mineralization to help us better utilize drill money to expand the resource. I'll just now focus on the 2017 activities. We've finished the first 5,000 meters of our two-phase drill program, completed 26 new holes, and most of those holes were dedicated to the main zone as well as testing new targets. Some of our new shareholders required us to test new targets as well as the main zone, so we complied and did everything that the shareholders expected us to do. Assay turnaround time is horrific. As many people will tell you, it's currently trending about 2 months. We released the first 9 holes about a month ago. We expect to release the remaining holes from the first phase of drilling next week. So if you're interested in our story, please stay tuned for that release. And then phase 2 is underway. As I said, another 5,000 meters. We expect to complete that by the end of this month, and then assay availability probably early in Q1 is the best guidance I can give, potentially January with the holiday season upon us and slow turnaround still constraining assay flow. So highlights, we did sample a challenge that we have, or the opportunity we have, is to actually go back and use a lot of that historic data. Many of you understand the process that the TSX requires for us to go and validate that amount of data. We started by selectively resampling existing drill core, and our new program of drilling is a combination of infill as well as step out to confirm the grade distribution. These are some of the highlights from the main zone resampling. Very nice range of numbers, as you can see. That first bullet, that occurs close to surface. The main zone does come to surface. It's exposed in trenches, so we do see the viability of potentially looking at an open pittable resource, or at least a starter pit with a decline development as we go deeper underground. We have compiled a long section through the main zone. This is what it looks like. We can see a rake component, which is helping us guide our drilling. This is the current summary. Of the first 9 holes, I'll draw your attention to hole 9, a very nice intercept there, including a higher grade intercept within the deposit itself. We have multiple new targets remaining to be tested, and my time is up. Here's the timeline for next year. The best guidance I can provide you is mid-year next year for resource update. Thank you very much for your time.